Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Crick Static. I'm the show host who brings you the most, Tasmai Krishnan. Once again, very elated to welcome you all back to this platform. Yes, this platform YouTube is scintillating, but are they as scintillating as our podcast sponsors wanna buy? They have an AI algorithm as classy and as fantastic as KL Rahul's knock last night versus the Chennai Super Kings. Yes, I'm wearing my yellow jersey, but unfortunately a loss for the Chennai Super Kings yesterday. A hard-fought game, you must say that. I felt the pitch was on the slower side. And unlike Wannabe services, they're always quick, very customer friendly. All you have to do is just click the link, and for everything real estate, they have all your answers. And coming back to this match, I just felt that the track was a little too sluggish for the Chennai batters to adapt to in the first innings. Good toss to a one, and I think bowling first was the most feasible option on that surface. Running into this game, the Chennai Super Kings were exuding high on confidence. They knew that this is the game that can propel them to a greater chance of qualifying into the playoffs. But as they came with the Lucknow Super Giants, they've been nothing short of exceptional either this season. Nicky P has been turning it on for them. And today it was the Rolls Royce KL Rahul, as Chica has coined him, has come back to some great form. And he looked in some classy touch. And I must say, the way he timed the ball, the way he was picking the gaps. I mean, after 15, they usually say that the batter is able to see only the gaps. He's only able to see the gap. A great batsman will be able to see the gaps. And a good batsman will be seeing where the fielders are placed. So that's the difference. And KL Rahul is a great batsman. And once he turns it on, there's nobody like him who's more exciting to watch. And a very fascinating innings from him. But initially took his risks. He played across the line. He played a little bit straight. But you could see that the plan was that during the power play, until and unless it's going to be on the leg side, let's not play that flick. Let's not go for that flick. I think a lot of practice has gone into that. Justin Langer is doing a fantastic job as a coach. I saw a video of him working with Devdutt Padikkal, who didn't get a game, but the way he was coaching him, saying that your game is very pure. Just leave it like that. Come on to the front foot, transfer your weight, and just keep driving. Very simple stuff in that dugout, and that's something very resonant to what CSK usually likes. And you can see that it's bearing its fruits. I think the dugout is very chill. The environment looks very nice there. So I think that's why it's reflecting on their performances. And of course, the way Quinton de Kock, he's an IPL legend, one of the most underrated players in the IPL, comes back time and again, makes runs for fun, from Mumbai Indians to the Lucknow Super Giants. Even for RCB, he had a brief stint. He made a lot of runs for them as well. So you can see that Quinton de Kock is again playing his free-flowing game, but yesterday he was a little curtailed. I felt, I think he scored 53 or 40 odd deliveries, and the ball wasn't coming onto the bat. So Quinny, de Kock found a little hard to, because he's someone who likes the ball coming onto the bat, can play the shots. But CSK definitely missed a trick, and I think this was Ruturaj Gaikwad's decision, or was it MS Dhoni's decision? Because whenever CSK does something right, and there was another captain, we always give the credit to MS Dhoni, despite being an ardent MS Dhoni aficionado, I'm a devotee in fact. But I've got to say, I felt, not giving Moeen Ali an over in the middle, especially, or even bringing him with the new ball in the power play when you have Quinton de Kock, I felt that was a very bewildering move. In fact, I even thought that, instead of Fizz, they might bring in Tikshana. But things didn't go. I thought Samir Rizvi will be dropped for this game, and they might bring in Shardul Thakur. Shardul Thakur will re-cement his spot because he bowled the game-winning spell the previous game versus the Mumbai Indians. Might go unnoticed, but I think a lot of people are non-regarding it that because that was a great spell, 4 overs for 35. If not for that 2 runs over that he conceded in the middle, then probably the game would have gone towards the men in blue. But I just felt that Shardul Thakur could have played ahead of Samir Rizvi. But Rizvi is always a gamble you've got to take with because he's got so much of potential, but yesterday he just crumbled under pressure. And coming on to the way the CSK batters have batted, I must say the way Ajinkya Rahane started off, you thought he was going to convert that into at least a 60 or 70, 36 or 24. He's taking that initiative of going for the runs in the power play. That's something that I've liked about Ajinkya Rahane. He's a fearless batsman now. He's rejuvenated his game style so wonderfully. And I'm a huge fan of Rahane because the way he's going about his batting with that strike rate surplus of 160, it shows that he's willing to learn. For someone at the age of 36 or 35, I'm not too sure, to rejuvenate his whole game style, to bring in that fire, to bring in that change of intent. It speaks volumes of the kind of person that he is. It's very easy to be perspicacious towards wanting to have a change, but to see the way that Rahane is doing it at this stage of his career, it's impeccable to see what he's doing because he's having a very, very good IPL. And his opening partner, however, it was Rutu's opening partner all these days, Rachin Ravindra. He's not cracking it up a notch at all because he's got to, because Rashid Ravindra is not looking in good touch, barring the first game and this, where too he was, he was edgy. The second game he was a little, of course, fortuitous, but I felt that, he's got to come back, to form. Rashid, he holds key for CSK's chances because now Conway has been ruled out and the replacement named is Richard Gleeson. My colleague Surya and I I remember we predicted this together, that he might, get an IPL contract, but we never specified the team. But I'm glad to see that he's got the contract here. I still remember Richard Gleeson's debut game versus India. I think he dismissed Rishabh Pant, Virat Kohli at covers, extra covers, Rohit Sharma, and what a debut. I mean, that's as good as Barinder Sran's debut to dismiss Warner, Finch, and Steve Smith. So I feel that was, I think Richard Gleeson is going to be a valuable addition, given that Mustafizur Rahman is not there for the second half of the IPL, that is from May 5th to May 7th, and Richard Gleeson will be a great addition. So I'm looking forward to what he brings onto the table. And Rachin, but coming back to Rachin Ravindra, for all the talent and all the pedigree that man possesses, it's really going a waste. And I think it's about time that CSK probably might give him another game, might give him another stint and say, you know what, go out there and play your game, play fearless cricket. And after that, they might go to Daryl Mitchell to open the innings, because I feel Daryl Mitchell as a finisher has been largely underwhelming. He hasn't made a lot of runs, hasn't looked in good nick at that position. He needs his time to settle. You've got to give him that much time. And with Rahane, going for such shots, I think it's a gamble I'm willing to take, to send Mitchell up and make him bat those 20 overs and let him go after the spinners after the power play. And if they bring in, and he can, it's not like he's a sitting duck in the power play as well. He can go for the runs. We've seen seen it time and again what he's done for New Zealand. So he's got all the scope, all the potential. So I really hope that he turns it on for the Chennai Super Kings as an opener. And I won't be surprised if they do go for that, opt for that move, or they might even, rejig the batting order in a way in which Rutu comes back up top with Rahane. Rachin moves out of the 11th and Daryl bats at 3. Even I think Daryl is a better player at 3, but because personally Ruturaj is a good exploiter of the power play as well. Yes, the power plays have been underwhelming for CSK over the last few games, but if you can get Daryl at 1 down, I think when you look at who's the better player with regard to exploiting the power play, Rutu's going to pip Daryl there for me, because Daryl is a classicist. So asking him to go for those runs early on, that might be a little too much, because he needs at least 4 to 5 of at least 6 deliveries to find his feet, and we know what 6 deliveries can change. We've seen Rinku Singh hammer 30 of them to win the game, and we've also seen Ashutosh Sharma pull off a few matches just like that. So I really feel Daryl can bat at 3 or open the batting whenever that is. And coming on to Ravindra Jadeja, a brilliant captaincy. I think sending him in that position, coming in and making runs, he was a touch. He was in some scintillating touch, Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, yes, he's not coming into this match with a lot of form with regard to his batting. He's been having a few bad years with regard to the bat. The 2023 IPL final, just because of that surreal finish, I think it largely overshadowed his form. But 2021 and 2022, he's had good seasons. 2023 was very dismal for him, and even for the country after the India-Australia series, the comeback after COVID, it has really gone down. With regard to T20 cricket, he hasn't played a lot after that. But I feel it's about time that Jadeja starts making some runs, and his too is very similar to Mitchell with regard to the fact that he needs that much time to get into form. You can't directly send in Jadeja and ask him to go for the runs, because nowadays cricket has transitioned into a phase in which the bowlers are only trying to bowl cutters, slower ones into the surface. So it becomes very hard for you to go for the shots from ball 1. A lot of people might disagree that Jadeja is not as good as a batsman, but I feel he's one of the best all-rounders that India has produced with regard to spin bowling all-rounders. And I do feel that Ravindra Jadeja is certainly in your top 6. I don't think he can bat below that, but I feel Moeen Ali is also being underutilized with both bat and the ball. Why was he kept behind? I still don't understand. I felt Rizvi can provide that finishing flourish, because he's the kind of player who doesn't care about whether his wicket. He just wants to go for the shots from ball 1. And Moeen Ali too, he's a great player. I mean, Moeen Ali played a very handy cameo yesterday, 30 of 20 if I'm not mistaken, 3 continuous 6s, and then Bishnoi had the last laugh. But that was a great showcase of batting masterclass. Went for all the shots were over country if I'm not wrong, and one over the side screen. So you could see the intent from Moeen Ali. He still got the game. I don't understand why he's warming the bench. There's another all-rounder who the whole world will agree with me, saying that he's the most underrated agent in the CSK squad. That is Mitchell Santner. Could he have been brought in today? That's still, that's a question mark. And because you needed the runs to be constrained, the pitch was a little on the slower side. So I felt, Mitch with that action, just to see, in Tamil we call it poi bowling. That is, the bowler waits for 1 minute and then releases it to see what the batter is doing. And I thought that could have been employed today. So a lot of changes could have been done in the 11, but that's again hindsight. I don't believe in, on a personal note, I'm reiterating this. So I'm going back to the analysis. I felt Jadeja played wonderfully, but very sorry Jadeja, I've got to go to this player, because MS Dhoni, the young wicketkeeper batsman from Jharkhand, what a knock, 28 of 9. And not a single shot was a poor, poor balls. If you see every single shot, the adroitness with the bat that man possesses, the skill, I felt the best shot, a lot of people might say, was a lap, was the six that was very resonant to the 2011 World Cup final. For me, was the last ball where he dissected that gap. A wide Yorker is one of the hardest deliveries to get under. A lower full toss and a wide Yorker. He just opened up the blade and just dissected that gap. Even the previous ball, he closed it a little bit because he knew he had to go between that backward point and short third region. Closed it a little bit like this, takes the edge and goes for a boundary again. So it's remarkable what MS is doing at this age. Even, I should stop saying this age, in fact, because I want him to continue for another season. Despite logically and probably even pragmatically, he shouldn't. But I really want him to from a fan's perspective. He played that lap, because I remember I was sitting in my hall with my mother and watching this game, and I went and I was telling her, Ma, you know what, I just feel this ball, and I didn't know what he was going to do. Because usually I'm able to say what MS would do this ball, what would Rahane do this ball, I'm able to predict it. But this time I was just thinking, what is MS going to do? He's thinking a little too much, he's taking his time looking here and there. And then my mom said he's going to go behind, I feel, because that's the only thing that you can't think of when you think of MS Dhoni. Doesn't play too many ritzy and fashionable shots that, that'll grab the attention of all the 2K kids. But even I'm a 2K kid, but just saying so. But he played a wonderful, wonderful innings, MS. The kind of whirlwind knocks that he's playing, the running between the wickets, 25 kilometers per hour was the speed that he was running at, despite a blungy knee as of sorts. So you could see that MSD is just in some fine touch. I was jumping all around when I was seeing him. I can't imagine the vibe in the stadium, because I doubted myself 5 times whether they were playing at the Ekana or whether they were playing at the Chepauk, because the stadium was completely filled with yellow, and that talks magnitudes of the number of CSK fans across India, on probably even on a global scale, because I know fans from CSK in New York, in Dubai, in Australia. So that's how much that the people bestow love towards this franchise. And coming on to the bowling part with regard to the Lucknow Super Giants, Krunal Pandya was great as usual. It's now become a norm that whenever Krunal Pandya bowls at the Ekana, he's not going to concede runs. It's already a spin-aiding surface. The soil there is black, and he just runs in and just keeps a little quick on a length, turns it a little bit, and then the rest, of course, it happens on its own. He's a beautiful bowler, Krunal Pandya. I just love seeing him bowl. There's not a lot of variation with Pandya. It's more of his sidearm, or it's more of his just releasing a little faster. But other than that, he's giving so much finger. He's not like usually, for the leg spinner, it's called the slider. And he's not giving too much of finger. He's just running in and doing this. He's just leading it like that. He's saying, I'm just going to push it, let it land, and let it, just do the rest. Because he's, completely relying off the pitch. And that's great to see from Krunal, because, the kind of bowler that he is. He's a very underutilized, bowler and a batsman, I must say. He played beautifully, bowled beautifully yesterday. And coming on to the Lucknow Super Giants batting, already touched upon these two batters, just a little bit more. KL Rahul played a classy knock again, because I just can't get enough of what I'm saying. And in fact, I even posted a reel asking who you think would be the highest scorer of this game, and I've got a winner. I'll announce that through my next reel. But it was great to see the way KL Rahul has come back into touch. But I'm still not for KL Rahul opening, because now if you see, Virat Kohli has all of a sudden come back into the opening picture, so he's definitely going to open in this World Cup. Is what my take is. Jaiswal will be taken as a backup despite a poor IPL 2024, and of course you have other contenders in Shubman Gill, Ruturaj Gaikwad as well, who are not having quite IPLs either. So it's going to be interesting on how what is KL Rahul's thought process. I still haven't understood. Have they told them that the only slot available is keeping? We have seen what you can do. We know how you're able to. Your range of adaptability is very is fantastic. We know that you can come in at any time and bat at any position. But if you want to have a shot on the World Cup, you've got to keep. So I think that's the clarity that has been given to, and I think he's working towards that, because you can see he's really kept well as well. He's stumped Rizvi as well. So he's keeping, but I really would like to see him bat in the middle order. I mean, accommodating a batsman like Devdutt Padikkal, who's so classy and elegant to see. Yes, he's been a touch poor this IPL, but you've got to give him that much time to get going once again, to rediscover that RCB flair and mojo. And that brings me, I've already touched upon Dickock, not too much. He did struggle a little bit, but he did make his runs as well on occasions. KL Rahul played a few shots through covers and cover point, and those shots were probably the shots of the game, because of course after that lap and that shot through the dice that MS dissected through backward point and third man. No, I'm not at all biased. So I think KL Rahul that shot that he played through cover and cover point, where there was a small misconfusion, such a well-timed shot. Once Rahul crosses 50, there's no other player who's better than watching, spectating other than KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. Because once those two cross 50, they're almost as if they're on cruise control mode. They just change the mode and they just keep, they sail unassailed. So, he's just a player who's who's someone I enjoy watching KL Rahul. Nice to see him turn it on. And that brings us on to the CSK bowling. Deepak Chahar is the weakest link in this Chennai Super Kings lineup. No offense intended, but with that pace or with those tactics that he employed, running in and bowling cutters in the power play with only 2 men back, it made no sense to me. When your third man and final leg boundaries are a little shorter in relativity to having your square leg and your mid wicket boundaries, the square boundaries and your sweepers, probably a deep cover point, those boundaries are large. If you're targeting that, you've got to change the angle. He's running in and bowling cutters on the stumps, and he's kept a third man a little fine so that the edge carries. But with such a small boundary, all you have to do is time the ball, and you're giving him that much time. It's not like he's taking off pace from 140, he's bringing it to 120. From 130, he's bringing it to 115. So you're giving the batsman that much time to go for the shot. Left me absolutely confounded as I was watching him operate, and I just felt that he's not bowling properly this IPL, not getting the ball to move a lot. Can't blame him. The surfaces are like that. He's trying to angle it inside like Ishant Sharma, but it isn't working for him. He's got to rely on the wrists more than the fingers, because for someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the reason of success has not only been the new grips that he's finding like this, but also with the in-swinger grip, he's getting it to outswing nowadays, but also because he's using his wrist. Trent Bolt is using his wrist to swing the ball so much. Andre Berger, his wrist position is impeccable. Mustafizur Rahman, when you have someone of that pedigree in your lineup, Eric Simons, the bowling coach, you have so many people there. I don't understand why he's doing this, but yes, of course, Moeen Ali was largely underutilized. I felt Moeen Ali's spell could have won us the game, in fact, and Rachin's 10 runs more. Yes, hindsight, as I'm reiterating, I don't like it, but had Moeen Ali bowled probably another 2 overs in the middle and conceded another 5 to 7 runs or 8 to 10 runs, I think CSK would have taken that with their hands open. And one more thing could have been that I just felt, this is just a suggestion from my end, that I don't understand why CSK didn't try something different when Mustafizur is going for runs. Couldn't he have got Deshpande then at that stage of the game and then bring back Mustafizur towards the end? Because it didn't make any sense to me then. But I guess I'm talking from a perspective where I've already seen what has happened. But on the field, I think it's always very hard to predict how which bowler is going to operate. But I felt on a whole in this game, Rutu only got a 6 out of 10 for his captaincy. But people seem to enjoy playing under him. In fact, MSD asked for a pat on the back from him. So that shows the camaraderie in that dressing room. So overall, I touched upon the facets that I had to. No. How can I forget? Matisha Pathirana. I mean, 4 overs, 29 runs if I'm not wrong for a wicket, and that catch from Jadeja at backward. Oh my God! He was at point. He jumped to backward point for that catch. I mean, just terrific, fielding from him. And that position, it becomes very hard. But the way he caught that ball, it left me. My mouth was absolutely open, wide open. Producing a catch like that will when your morale is down, that those kind of catches boost you up on the field, and that is exactly what Jadeja did. And he did go for runs with his spell, but I just felt he could have been a little more up towards Quinton de Kock. Let him go for the shot, give him a 6, but let him also tell him that I don't care if you miscue it, because Jadeja was trying to do what he does usually, run in and bowl flat. But he didn't get acquainted to this surface. I felt had he bowled a little fuller, made de Kock go for the shot, made a mistake out, that would have been a great tactic. But as it happened, it didn't. So yeah, once again, I think I've touched upon the facets that I had to. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. For more such exciting content, you know exactly what you have to do. There are 3 steps. 1, you have to subscribe to my channel. 2, leave a comment to let me know whether you like my channel or not. And 3, do share this video with a lot of people, like-minded people as well, so that my growth can also grow exponentially. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day ahead.